What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have the game review of Halo Infinite, the campaign, and the multiplayer. If you want to see more game reviews, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, and comment, and you'll be ready for the next one. But let's jump right into the campaign. It's mid. That's all I can explain for the Halo Infinite campaign. It's not even, you have to pay for the campaign only. That's all you get when you pay, if I remember correctly. It's a $50, $60 DLC for Halo Infinite, where you pay for the campaign. And the campaign itself, it doesn't feel like a Halo campaign. Like, yes, you play as Master Chief. Yes, there's some Halo weapons that are reoccurring. There's new ones. Armor abilities make a big comeback into Halo Infinite, but not in the same way as we saw in Reach, where it's like rechargeable. No, Halo Infinite has two different ways. Campaign, it is the a numbered ability. Like, it does recharge. Everything does recharge, but you only have one grapple for a couple seconds, or a barrier, this or that. And you have to go throughout the campaign to upgrade Master Chief and his abilities, which I thought was really weird, but a new take on it. In the campaign, the main enemy is the Banished, which is actually a new enemy for the Master Chief campaigns. We started with the Covenant, and now we're on to the Banished, which, if you know the lore, that's after the Covenant falls. But it's not the first time we've seen them. If you've played the Halo Wars series or read the books, you know who the Banished are. But my main thing with the campaign is it feels dull. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not the same. You're either in the Halo ring, or you're at a copy-paste Banished outpost. That's the best way I can describe it. And you start to notice the reuse of many of the assets in almost all the levels. It's pretty close to the same, same objective each time. It's like, oh, you gotta go under this base to unlock the door, or oh, you gotta fight this many enemies so you can open or have the weapon open a bridge. And it's just weird to see that. If you've played any of the other Halo games, the missions felt like missions. Each one's different. We'll get into the missions after I talk to you about this, since it's where we're at right now. This is the mission called the Tower. You get a Spartan SOS beacon, and it comes to this: a boss fight. Now, Halo's not necessarily new to boss fights, but the way that Halo Infinite does it is definitely interesting. There's the weird health bars, but that's accurate. That's a good way to build a boss. But they don't feel boss worthy. For example, Tartarus in, is it Halo 3? No, Halo 2, I believe. Yes, he was terrifying with his gravity hammer. Like, that was straight up terrifying. Trying to think of other. Maybe they weren't really bosses, but Halo Infinite has decided to make bosses and mini bosses. There's side quests just for bosses, but they just don't feel like bosses. I feel like a hunter's stronger than 90% of these bosses. The only time I struggled with them most of the time is on legendary, when I attempted legendary, and that's just like kind of sucks to see because there's like, yes, the clip you saw, I'm maxed out, but I didn't struggle much during my full playthrough the first time, and it just didn't feel like a normal Halo game with different different things. They all kind of ran the same routine. It's, oh, here's this really, really cool intro, and here's this really predictable boss. And here in 343, not to bash the company, I'm not bashing any companies, this is just my opinion on the game. I feel like the majority of the boss fights, they just hand you the explosives. That's it. It's so weird. But the missions, it's just, this is like the only thing I enjoyed in the missions, where these, yes, it's kind of dark, but you find several Spartans that have been killed, and it shows how human Master Chief actually is, and not just a giant machine. And it's sad to see, as someone who loved Halo, loves, and read the books, played all the games, it was the only enjoyable thing about the campaign. I always just felt like I was running the whole time. As you see, this is what I feel like the majority of the missions are. It's just you keep running, and then there's like a bulk of enemies, and then you just keep running. It doesn't feel like an all-out war. It just feels like, here you go, here you go. It doesn't feel right. And the missions are split very weirdly. They try to bring back the TAC map, like we saw in Halo 3 ODST, goated game. But that one led you to the missions itself, and like they all felt different because, yes, in that game you do play as different characters. But even in the other Halo games, you played different missions with different objectives. That's not what Halo Infinite felt like to me. Halo Infinite felt bland in mission variety, in mission enemy types. Like, yes, there's the repeat of enemies, of course. That's how every Halo game is. They don't have an infinite number of enemies, but it's always like the same few. It's like, I know if you change difficulties it gets harder, but like, give me some more banished hunters, give me some more, like, there's not a lot of variety. There's very few like elites that you actually fight on like a normal basis. Like in the Halo Reach campaign, you're fighting top tier enemies multiple times. But in Halo Infinite, it's so sparse and spread too far out for a fun campaign. And it's weird to see. And just, I'll go into the gun models later because it revolves close to the multiplayer as well. But it didn't really feel like a fight for humanity. It just kind of felt like you gave ChatGPT and thing saying, go make me a sci-fi alien shooter. That's what this feels like. None of the weapons feel like weapons. Master Chief doesn't feel unstoppable in this. The enemies aren't terrifying. Like, I have nightmares about the legendary Jackal snipers. That was terrifying. This, there's no similarity. Like, yeah, of course I struggle on legendary. It's the most difficult thing. But at the same time, I don't struggle as much as I did in any other Halo game. And I used to bash a lot on the Halo 5 campaign, even though I've played it a lot because I played with a buddy. I bashed on it a lot, but now I can't really bash on it anymore because now I'm realizing it's a lot better than Halo Infinite's. And that's hard to say, um, but it felt like it picked up at such a random, maybe not 100% random, but not the best time a Halo campaign could have. And it just ends kind of abruptly. So what are we gonna get? Are we ever gonna get a closure of where we're at in the game wise? The books go into a lot more detail, and I'm a fan of fan made stories. They do better than what Halo Infinite's been putting out. That's for sure. Um, but the campaign is getting a 4 out of 10 for me overall. It it was just rough. It just didn't move right. But on that note, we're done talking about this goofy campaign, and we're gonna head into the multiplayer, which isn't much better, but at the same time, it is better. Um, they have just started bringing back older maps, um, and some older game modes, but that's the weird thing for me is they didn't just start off with it. They waited 1 year, 2 year. I guess this is year 3 or something that Halo Infinite's been out, and there's still a lack of content. There's like maybe 20 maybe not even 20 weapons in the game. And I know like the originals didn't have much either, but they all they were all terrifying in their own ways if used properly. Like some people would use the plasma pistol to break a shield and then swap to a pistol, a DMR, and get the quick headshot. It doesn't do that anymore to enemy Spartans. It doesn't break shield. It just kind of, I don't think it does, unless they actually added that in. But I haven't actually cared enough to keep playing this game in a while. And the guns just don't feel like guns, if that, or the weapons don't feel like weapons. You used to like get these crazy effects when you would hit someone, or like you actually felt like you were hitting them with either a bullet, plasma, Forerunner tech, whatever you used, it felt like you were using that actual weapon when you hit them. In this game, it doesn't even matter if I could have hit someone point blank with the bulldog round, or point blank with I don't even know what Covenant weapons are in this. I'll just say the Needler, and all I'll get is a little dink off the armor. Like, really? I couldn't tell the difference between what just hit my enemy. I just shot someone with a rocket launcher, and what happened? Nothing. Oh, but no. You have to remember, they added kill effects that I have to pay for. It's stupid. It's not fun. It, like, even the vehicles, they changed how the Warthog works. I can't remember the exact reason, or not exact reason, but how they designed the original Warthogs and why it stayed the same for forever. Because it was a crazy vehicle. It was designed to be a crazy vehicle. That Scorpion, and it still is scary, it still one-shots you, but it doesn't have that same fear if you hear the shot from across the map. The Mongoose, you never see anyone using the Mongoose. No one uses the Mongoose. And there's only 2 variants of the Warthog. If you remember Halo, I think Halo Reach had a decent amount. Halo 4 did as well, and Halo 5 did, of course. You had the normal one, you had the Gauss, you had the Rocket, you had several options. There's only the normal and the Gauss. No, not the Gauss. The Rocket Hog. Those are the only two. And then you have the Gun Goose, which is a newer uh, vehicle. I think 4 introduced it, but that's it. And then the Wasp makes a reoccurring game appearance, but it sucks. It doesn't feel like a good vehicle. Um, the Ghost, of course. The Ghost and the Mongoose are probably the most. No, probably Ghost and Warthog are the most used Halo vehicles. Um, it's hard to find Phantom, or not Phantoms. My apologies. Wraiths. Wraiths are on very few maps for only big team battle. Um, and it doesn't feel like a tank. It doesn't feel like it competes with a Scorpion, and it's just kind of sad to see because if you remember playing in Halo Reach or anything, any Scorpion mission, you would be terrified to hear the Wraith shot coming at you because that means it may hit you and blow you up completely. And there's only like I think two Covenant vehicles, one Banished. Well, not Covenant, but it's the Banished. There's like 7 vehicles. That's it. It's like, and you're playing big team battle. That's like if Battlefield only had one attack plane or one fighter jet and a tank and a Doom buggy. Like, that's not what a big team battle is. Big team battle is all out war. And it's sad to see. And it's the same for the weapons. They don't feel like you're actually fighting. It feels like a Nerf war. Basically, a Nerf war and go-karts. Like, oh, cool, you have a Mongoose? Cool, I'll just knock you off of it. You're not going to be able to hit me 90% of the time. And it's disappointing. And see, everyone's like, we need more. And I agree. There's a severe lack of content. I've already said this, but I'll keep saying it because it's true. It took them a year or two. It took them a long time to implement Infection, Super Fiesta, in some popular game modes. Maps, they're just now getting better at it. Forge wasn't even a part of Halo Infinite when it first dropped. And Forge has been in since forever. Halo CE, it may have had Forge. I can't remember if it had Forge. But there's no new weapons, there's no new, anything. It was really cool in Halo 5, we had variants of weapons. I thought that was the way we were going, like the AR with a different scope or a silencer. That's cool. I didn't expect that. It now makes me appreciate Halo 5 a lot more. Because Halo 5 was the first game to use, kind of a paywall. But before I get into the pay side, let's talk about how good the MCC and old customization was. MCC has a battle pass system, or a pass system. You don't have to pay a dime for it. As long as you have the game, you can unlock everything. But all you have to do is either the challenges, or just play the game, and you level up. Isn't that crazy? I get rewards for playing the game. Who could have believed? Halo 5 comes around. Rec packs. Whoa, what's this? Rec packs, points. I have to pay to get customization? Yes and no. Because you still earn points while playing. No difference, no nothing. Halo Infinite. Yes, you can earn some points here and there. But the cheapest item is $15. It's not worth it. And it's sad to see. And it's gotten to the point where they're not even making new physical items. They're making cosmetic items. So I'll show you on the screen right here. Image on the left, the fuel rod cannon from Halo Reach. The image on the right, the fuel rod cannon from Halo Infinite. Notice the difference? Me too. What is it? One's the actual weapon. The other, oh, it's a spanker 3D design. What? You telling me I don't get to hear the original? And I have to pay for it? Come on. That's just crazy talk. It's not the same. Halo Infinite has probably seen the biggest decline of any Halo game forever. I got back on my Xbox a couple months ago. I got into a full match of Halo 5 quicker than I did for a Halo Infinite big team battle. That's sad to see. Well, not sad to see. Halo 5 is a blast. Warzone. Love me some Warzone in Halo 5. But it's easier to play games on MCC than it is to play on Halo Reach. Just because the game is more natural. It's crazy. The downfall of Halo, it might not be complete. It's not dead yet. We're seeing some changes. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into that because that's a controversial topic. But we really, I don't know where Halo's going. We don't really know where a story is going. We don't know if we're going to get more content for Halo Infinite or if we're just going to keep getting items we have to pay for. And as a lifelong Halo fan, it's sad to see. But I know this was a relatively quick review video. Mainly me dogging on Halo Infinite. Kind of the point. Halo Infinite, as an overall, 6 out of 10 game. At the full game. It's fun with friends. Only with friends. I get irritated playing solo. But that comes to the end of this review video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more, subscribe. Tell me what games you want to see reviewed in the comments and what games you want to see me do playthroughs for. I got a few in the works right now, so keep your eyes out and have a good day. Peace.